Welcome to a 1UP3D Blender tutorial. This is the second part to my tutorials on creating a side-scrolling shooter. The last tutorial we made simple movements using this collision box, which represents our character. And in this tutorial we will be adding a firing mechanism for the shooting part and a simple ammo system that we will be making more complex in the tutorial after this. So we'll get started on that. First thing we want to do is create a isosphere, and we'll change that to one subdivision just to make things a little easier on the CPU on your computer. We'll scale that down a bit. And right now we're just making it this size so it's visible. And we are going to change its physics to dynamic. And we're going to hit disable simulation of linear motion along the z-axis. I believe that will accomplish what we want so that the gravity does not affect it, because I'm having trouble with gravity affecting my bullet far more than I want it to. And I'm going to change the color on this to red so it's easy to see. And we'll hit M to bring up this option so we can move it to the second layer. Oh, before that, ideally, I can still do it here, but we're going to change that. The name of that object to handgun bullet. I'm naming it that because I'm also going to have a shotgun for this game, so I'm going to be able to switch between weapons, and of course when you switch weapons you'll want it to fire a different ammo, so we'll need to have a specific name for that. We'll also need to have a property in it for when we have enemies and we're hitting them and causing them damage, and we'll call that the same. Right, and we'll just have that as an integer. It doesn't really matter for that, but now in layer 1 we need to add a empty, which it's usually there's a bunch of options when you hit Shift A to add an empty, while in here there's just this one, which is the one we want. Alright, and it adds an empty like that. This won't appear in the game, which is why we want one of these. It's kind of an invisible object. You can make an invisible object, but I believe they take up more processing power to process it. And we're going to position this about where we want it to seem like you're holding a handgun. So I guess right about there for that view. And probably about there. And now we are going to name this. And I am going to name it handgun. Alright, and we're going to add several sensors to this. Actually, we just need this to be barrel. That will actually work better down the line. I'll explain that to you in another tutorial why it needs to be named that. But for now we're going to add a keyboard sensor. And I'm going to use space for the firing key, the trigger, I guess. Alright. I'll call it trigger. And now we need edit object. And we want handgun bullet. I'm going to put that for 10. And we will put the Y on, see, 25. We'll try that first. Now we will test that out. Alright. Oh. One thing we need to do, which is stupid that I forgot, this empty, the barrel, as we named it, needs to be parented to the character collision. So select the empty object first, then the box by hitting Shift, and then hit Control P and parent to object. Now, and I'm going, so you can see this, I'm going to turn on physics visualization. Sorry. So now we can see the different objects, and apparently that's not working. For the bullet, I put it to where it shouldn't fall on the Z-axis, but apparently it is anyway. But I might just put, I think I have a solution for this, which I need to go back to the other layer for. This is probably not the best solution, but I can add a linear velocity to the Z-axis so that it moves up, and so that it doesn't fall as quickly, and that is too much, so I'll put it at, let's try 1. It's ending too fast, so I'll put that at 35. And now I need more on the Z. Let's try 3. Sometimes with this stuff you just have to play around. Yeah, I don't know if the solution is working the way I want it to, 'cause yeah, it's still going curving. But if I change this to 50, which I probably should, the bullets move pretty fast. That seems about right. I'll zoom out so I can see the full path. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so there we go. We have a firing system set up. And in the next video, I will set up a ammunition system. So, yep. See you in the next tutorial. Subscribe, all of that, and we'll see you then.